Okay, let's add scratches. So let's add a fill layer, and I'm gonna rename this scratch. So I already searched here, scratch. What the? Scratch. Sorry, I don't have C on it. So anyways, that's scratch. Then we have this grunt scratches here. Let's drag it. But first we need to add a black mask. Then add a fill on our black mask. And let's go back here. Let's remove our normal rough metal color and let's remain our height. Let's go back to fill and let's drag our grunt scratches here. Let's see if it's working. Let's bring back our color so that we could see. You can see it here. It's working. So let's go back to our grunt scratch. Let's adjust our tiling like that. As you can see it already. Our scratches over there. You can just change the color to more like a brownish, like that. Then we will add a height. Lower down height a bit to 0. I think I'm gonna use 0.3. That will work. Okay. Sorry, we need to add a base color so that it will be visible. Because without the base color, we got this result. So we will not get those what do you call it, dirt inside, because when we say scratch, it means that there's a like a tight cut here, so dirts will be filled on this area. So we need to add color so that we will act like there's a dirt on this part. Okay, so let's double check if this looks good. I think this one's good. We can now proceed to our next part. Everything here is fine. Actually, we can just duplicate some parts here and add to our main sole here. Let's bring back our parts over here. I found it. What do they call that once again? Like a main sole or bottom sole. You can name whatever you want. I don't even know what are the real names of these parts. So I'm gonna name this sole. Then let's create another folder and call it bottom sole. And this will be the part that we're working on. And let's add a black mask 4, and let's add this one over there. Then we will duplicate our black here, Control D, and let's drag it to our bottom sole over there. Let's erase the copy one. Then let's collapse the sole, and we will copy these parts. Let's select this up to this color. I'm shift selecting them, scratch to this color, Control C, and let's click the black and Control V. Without automatically like duplicate everything here. As you can see, it already added some textures over there, except that we have those color. We have the black color, but we need to fix a lot of stuff here because I think it doesn't look good. It doesn't match the sole, and how does the sole will look like. So this color has to be a little bit more darker, because our sole is black, so it has to be way more darker, like that. So some parts here, as you can see, sole are made like all the time it was on the ground, so there will be no textures around here at the bottom. Like literally everything at the bottom will don't get those textures, except for the sides. I think let's try removing the height. Yeah, removing the height will be good, so let's remove this, but remain those scratches. Let's adjust our scratch. Let's make it more random, adjusting rotation. because it will get similar results to this one because we have duplicated on the top. And we need to change the roughness. You can see here it's too shiny. You can see the shine here, the highlights. You can lower it a bit more. Our highlights on our over here on our black. Can remove, change the roughness. We can increase it further like that. Okay. Let's look for reference. Let's see this. Okay. You can see the sole here. It has a bit of highlights, so we got this highlights as well. Let's lower down our roughness a bit, so we can get those a little bit of highlights. I think this one's good because this part is not that even visible when we're trying to render it. It will be darkened, but when we start rendering this, we can find out some stuff, then just edit here inside Substance once again. By the way, guys, you can see this model in real-time render using Iray inside Substance by clicking this here, the camera, so that it will give you an idea on how does our object look like when it's textured and rendered. As you can see it here, it's kind of laggy. Well, I think the scale of our scratches here is kind of large. The way I model it, it looks like clay. but it's okay. You can just check it like there. Well, I don't have much time to just look around. We can skip this part and just focus way more on our texturing and the other parts. Okay. Now let's move on to our metal plates. Actually, both of them has the same colors and textures. We can just again duplicate them. So we can just add another fill right here, mesh fill, by using the black mask here, because we're going to use the same layerings for this one on our sides here. So let's click this and click 4, and we can just add to this part manually. First, let's hide these base color guide. Can just add this part here, this one, this one, and that's basically it. As you can see here, we have already added. So I'm gonna bring this thing back. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this. I think we need to add a little bit of darkness to this one. So we should add I think we need to separate this. So I made a mistake. We need to separate this because you can see by far it's blending. It doesn't look like they're separated. So I'm gonna undo everything here, bring everything back to normal. Okay, so let's say I'm just gonna separate all of them. Okay, so let's focus by separating everything so that we will not get those kind of weird coloring. Okay, so let's add another folder. Can I name this side soul, whatever. You can name whatever you want, guys, because I actually had no idea what are the parts here. I only know the sole, the tongue, shoelaces, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as you know which is which. Okay, let's add a black mask. 4, and let's add this one. We forgot to add a fill. Let's name this dark gray, and we will follow the coloring here. Yes, this is the dark gray. We can use eyedropper tool, dark gray, like that, and let's add the side sole. Let me unhide this one. I hide this one, I mean. Okay, let's add this one as well. Something's wrong. Yeah, it's here. Okay, dark gray. Yep, we already added this one. Now we can start focusing for this one. Next is we're going to copy this scratch dirts, this color. That's basically it. Control C, click the dark gray, Control V. Now we'll duplicate everything here except for the main color, and we can play around our dirts. So I'm gonna hide this one. This color, we can play around with this color. I added too much here. Let's remove the paint and focus on the grunge tiling. That I added too much here on the side. So let's fix the rotation. Okay, do this color one. Let's fix the tiling and also the rotation. Oops, we're working on the wrong. Okay, rotation. It looks like we added too much. We need to adjust the tiling. Okay, I think it looks good. Looks fine to me. Okay, next one is this. Let's add another folder. I'm gonna name this side sole red. I'm sorry. I really had no idea what is this thing called. Side sole red. Okay, that's it. That's the name. Okay. Let's add another fill layer. Name this red. Click the folder, right click, black mask. And click 4. Let's click this one, the side sole red. That's a weird ambient occlusion over here. So we will copy the color here. Go to base color, copy that. Let's remove the height, normal, metal. Oh, this one's metal, by the way. Let's leave it metallic and roughness. And we can start adjusting our metallic. Let's increase it a little bit like that. Roughness, let's lower it down. That. Okay. Now we can start adding our dirts. Let's just copy the scratch and dirts over here, and this color too. C, Control C and Control V here. As you can see, it's duplicating everything. Let's lower down our scratch. I think we added too much. Let's increase the tiling. And or we can just add paint and manually remove them. That. Let's remove the scratches inside, you know. Let's increase the flow because there are no scratches inside. How does the scratches come inside? Which is crazy, right? Let's check if there are scratches. there's not even scratches, so let me just delete this. It's not even helpful. Okay, let's adjust this color. Move the paint, just the tiling. Okay, like that. It's kind of obvious, our seam here. So just the tiling. Okay, I think this one's okay. Next is we will add a metal edge wear around this because this one's metal. So let's click our dirt, add a fill, so that we will add on top of it, and metal edge wear. Okay, right click, black mask, go to generator, and let's select where's that? Here it is, metal edge wear. Let's click that, and we will adjust the color here. Let's remove the normal, okay, that's basically it. Let's change the color here. So let's change this to white or a bit of gray, and adjust the metallic. Let's increase it because this one's metal, and what's outside here, it's paint, right? So if you're gonna see it in real life, machines or robots, they usually have painted metal outside, or cars. Then once you're exposing the parts that bumps on the ground, like for example this part, it always bumps on the ground, so that's why it has these metal edge wear. So let's increase our height, lower down the height a bit, like that. I want to make it 0.1, just a little bit. Then we can play around our metal edge generator here, because I don't want to add too much. Something like this, having a little balance look. Okay, let's save. Let's double check inside if it's copying. Okay, it's over there. We have these weird ambient occlusion on the side here, guys. So this one can be easily fixed. Let's collapse this one first. Okay, we will fix our ambient occlusion. In order to do this, we need to add a fill layer. Let's rename this ambient occlusion. I'm gonna right click and add a white mask. So over here on our layers, you can see here we don't have the ambient occlusion. So let's go back to our texture set settings, and let's click this plus button, and let's click this ambient occlusion, so it will automatically add our ambient occlusion. Go back to properties. As you can see here, we already have the AO option, so let's remove these part and remain the AO, and we can now start selecting our AO over here. Click, and it's already here. Or you can just search AO and it will show you this one. This is our AO, the one that we have baked, so let's click that, and it's already here. Let's go back to our texture set here, and let's remove the ambient occlusion because we already have it here on our layer. Okay, let's try to hide this one. Oops, we removed this one, so let's click this once again and add the ambient occlusion. Okay, so we will start removing this using our white mask here. So let's click this. I'm manually removing it, or we can just use our mesh fill. Click 4, use this one, or mesh fill, and click this red X in red, so that it will give you a negative value. Okay, that's basically it. So what we did is we add our ambient occlusion on our layer, but it also affects our overall work, right? You can see it here. We lost some shadows on this part. Actually, it's not that even visible, right? So I don't think we need to remove those. Uh, okay, let's undo that and just leave it like that, so that we will just mainly focus on the other parts. Okay, but that's basically how you add ambient occlusion and just delete the ambient occlusion in your texture set. Okay, so just also a short tutorial or tip on how you add your ambient occlusion inside your layers. Okay, so anyways, we will start moving on to our second layer here. We're gonna do, I think this part is already leather, so this can be another set of layers, and we don't need to copy these layers here like the one that we have done on our sole. We just basically copy everything and paste it to in other parts. So on this part, we need to focus on this. So let's add another folder. Let's rename this body underscore 2. I kind of create weird names, you know, but as long as it helps. Body 2, and add a black mask. Let's add another fill layer and name this black. And what else? Let's select this black mask, click 4, and let's add a mesh fill for this one. Okay, now it's filled. Means we can now start working on this. Let's hide our base color guide. By the way, in order for us to guide while hiding this one, we will add a fill. And let's change this to pink, so it will give us an idea on which part are not yet textured. As you can see here, the purple ones means not yet textured. Okay, let's do it like that. I'm gonna put it at the bottom, so when we turn this thing on, it will give us a preview of our overall textures. And I'm gonna unhide this. So it means this part are not yet textured, and currently we are working on our body 2, and it's this one. So we're working on this one. So for this is leather. You can see here, it's more like a fake leather. I think we have this kind of texture inside substance, so let me figure this thing out. Let's change the color here to black. Let's copy this, select that one, and it's black. Okay, next is we will add discoloration. This color. Okay, then we'll lower down or increase more like a grayish. Add a black mask. We'll remove the height, metal, AO, and normal. Let's remain the roughness and the base color only. So on our black mask, let's add a fill, and let's look for grunge or dirt. I'm gonna type it grunge, and let's find some dirty grunges here. Can even add fingerprints, but we're gonna use that later. We're mainly focusing on the dirt. So let's try. I'm gonna use this wipe. Let's try. Okay, let's lower down our tiling. Doesn't look good. It looks like it's wet. So we can play around our grunges here. Nope. Nope. I think this is the one. Okay. Play around the tiling. Okay, I think this one's okay. Let's see the difference with or without. That's basically it. It doesn't matter, we will just add more dirts later on. We'll just mainly focus on the black here. Let's remove the height, normal, metal, AO, and remainder roughness. So leather is not that very reflective here. I mean fake leather will give you a soft reflection like that. So let's play around with the roughness. Okay. So next is we will add our fake leather texture. So we will add this to the top of the discolor. Let's add a fill layer. Name this leather or fake leather. Then let's remove the roughness, AO, metal, normal, and remain the base color and the height. Now let's add a black mask and add a fill, and let's look for leather. And we have this grunge leather. Thankfully, Substance has this texture, and we will just drag this over here, and we get this result. We will adjust our scale or tiling. Let's lower it down like that. Then we will remove our base color. Before that, we will adjust our height. Let's lower it down by 0.5. Then the scale of our leather, let's increase it a bit like that, and remove the color. Now we have this, only the height. Let's try increasing this tiling a little bit more. It looks shiny, right? Let me look at my reference once again. I think we added too much height. We will lower it down to 0.1. Okay, I think 0.1 is okay. Works great. To our leather, our fake leather. I don't like the discoloration. Looks like it's splashed paint. So let's adjust the color here. Make it brown or dark brown, and adjust the grunge, the tiling for this one. You can start adjusting the roughness, increase it. It's not visible, but it helps the reflection. As you can see here, you can see imperfections here when you're looking at this kind of angle. You can see the imperfections. So let me adjust the tiling for this one. I think we're using the wrong grunge. Let's look for different grunge. Let's use this grunge concrete. Oh yeah, this one's worked perfectly. But it looks like it's a rusted shoe, so let me adjust this. This one's look too much. Grunge, concrete spots. What else here? Grunge dust. Let's try. I think this is the one that we have used previously. Oh, this one's worked. Grunge dirt thin. Okay. This one's worked great. And let's just manually paint everything. Let's add paint. Use the brush tool and just manually paint, or removing the grunge so that it works best. Okay. Okay, I think we need to add the last part is the dirts right click, black mask, and let's remove the height, normal, metal, AO, and remain the dirt. Let's rename this dirt. Or we could just copy the one that we have created here. So Control C, the dirt, the one that we have created on the side sole, Control V it here, and automatically add it. Because this one's a generator, so there's nothing to be worried about adding those generators. So I'm gonna increase the dirt level. See it there. I can't see any addition to the dirt. Well, it's not even adding to our edges, so let me add another generator here. Okay. It doesn't look like it's adding to its edges. Let's say I'm gonna use the metal edge. See if it works well. Oh yeah, this one works well. I think this one works well. So let's change the color here to more darker brown, like that. Okay, I think this one works best. Looks good. I kind of like the result. Don't forget to hit save. So our final task is to add the stitches. You can see it here on our reference. We have stitches, so this is gonna be challenging for me because this is one of the most difficult part, is to add stitches, because I literally going to add them manually here, manually painting them all over the edges. So it's gonna be challenging. So let's start working with a stitch right now. First, we will add a fill, and let's name this Stitch, not Lilo and Stitch. Not funny. Anyways, let's remove the AO, metal, and normal, and let's focus only with the height and color. Okay, and also the roughness, because this one's a fabric, right? So let's right click and add a black mask. Add a black mask. Then let's change our alpha here and search stitch. Now we get this one, the stitch generator, and we got this. And let's scale this to, I think 0.5 is enough. Let's see if it's visible. I think it's too much. 0.1, let's say 0.15. Oh, it's too small. 0.3. I think 0.5 will work, like that. Or it's too small. I think 1. Yep, I think 1 will work. Where's my reference? Forgot my reference here. Where's that? It's here. I closed my reference. Okay, so it's here. As you can see, the stitches here, it's not that small. So I think this one's kind of enough. Let me increase this to 1.5. Let's increase it a little bit more. Okay, 1.5 is the perfect size. So in order to create this, we need to fix our spacing. As you can see here, we have 20 spacing, so every time we just drag this like that, it will give you a smooth. Instead, we need to increase our spacing. Let's try 150 and drag it like that. Well, we added too much. 100, let's try. Just playing around with the parameters. Okay, I think that's too much. Let's say 85. 85 is perfect. Okay, so we can now start working with our stitches. So I'm currently looking at my reference. So I'm just manually adding the stitches here, like eyeballing everything. I'm not sure if the scale is correct. If I'm gonna zoom out, it's kind of look good. I think it's okay. So this is the most time-consuming part, guys. So I think I'm gonna skip this and create a time lapse. But before that, I'm going to teach you guys on how, like example, I'm gonna add a straight line over here for the, because this part we don't need to like stamp them individually because this part is straight. So what we'll do is just to shift select them. So let's say I'm gonna stamp one here and hold shift and click this here, so that it will automatically create a straight line for you, and it will also give you a consistent spacing because we already set the spacing to 85, so there's nothing to worry about. But we will make sure that if we want to connect something, we will eyeball and compare if the spacing here are close or similar, so that it will not look ununiform if you're gonna look at far. So we will make sure that it looks uniform when we texture it. So let me undo that first because we need to focus on the spacings here. So that's why I started here at the middle, so that when we go around this part, then we will make sure that it will be connected to this part here at the end. Okay, so before that we will add a height for this one. So we'll increase the height so that it will look like a real stitch. 0.15. Okay, as you can see it there. Then we will later, once we finish everything, we will duplicate this. Let's move this one and rename this stitch blur, and we will add a filter over here, and let's look for blur, and we will add negative height for this one and remove the color. We'll add negative height, then adjust the blur intensity. This will help us to like add like it looks like a hole. It will show you like the stitches are literally pushing downwards. Later I will show you, but right now it's not working. I think I need to play around with the settings a little bit, so don't worry, I'm gonna show it later. But this is basically our workflow. Like I'm gonna duplicate everything, then add blur to it. So let me delete this one first. So let us focus on the stitches first, then let's work on that. Okay, so I'm gonna create a time lapse for this, guys, because this is a very time consuming work. So I'm gonna create a time lapse on how I like go around the stitches for this part. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, we have added the stitches already, but you can see the stitches here. It doesn't look like it's adding much color, because previously we added our we adjusted our flow to like 10%, like this one. So let me bring back our stitch. So every time we stamp that stitch, you can see the opacity here, because it's only 10%. So the flow acts like a opacity on our brush. You can see it right there. But if we make it max to 100, every time we stamp, you can see already the colors, like it's popping already, right? can see the highlights, you know. So what we're going to do is to remove everything here on our black mask. We can just right click, clear mask on our stitch, then we can do it again from scratch. Okay, so first I think I'm gonna adjust the scale once more, 0.8. Let me try the 0.8. Then we will stamp 1 over here. Let's see if this looks good. Then let's add once more over here. Let's double check. By the way, it has to be 2 layers. When I try to add the stitches, this one has to be in 2 layers, like that. I mean 2 stitches around the shoe. Okay, so I think I don't want to record everything, like I'm adding or stamping each stitches in the whole video, because it is gonna be time consuming. Like it will probably took me 30 minutes or 40 to like stamping these stitches. Instead I'm just gonna record this, then instead create a time lapse out of it, so that it will just show you the final results. Then after creating these stitches, I will show you how to improve the stitches here. Like I'm gonna add blur to the background here, so that it will look like it's pushing downwards or pushing to the fabric over here. So anyways, I'm gonna show you later once I finish creating these stitches. So let me undo that everything. Basically you get the idea on what is my plan throughout the adding stitches. Okay, so I'm gonna start working on the stitches and sit back, and I will create a time lapse in 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, so as you can see here, this part was covered, also this one and this one. So probably you were thinking that how are we going to texture this, because this part was covered by the other parts. So if we like trying to add texture to it, so it will not add, because we're basically adding texture on top of it. So actually we have a technique for this one. Well, basically it's not even a technique. Like we're just currently using the 3D viewport. So in order to work on the specific UV or the parts, we need to turn on our another viewport. Like currently it's only 3D viewport, so we were going to move this one here. So it's currently hiding here since I have a small monitor, so or small workspace. There is an option here where we can show the 3D and 2D viewport, or 2D only. So let's say I'm gonna move this thing in the side. Cannot move it further. Okay, I think I'm gonna move it this one. Okay, so it's now showing here. So let's long press, then let's turn on 3D and 2D, or F1 on your keyboard, and it's already here. Okay, so now we have divided our viewport, but downside here is that we're making it small. But if you have a large monitor, so you don't have any problems with it. So right now we will look for the UV that we're currently working on here in the 2D. Okay, so it's here, as you can see. This is what we're working on. So we currently stopped here, and this is the part we're gonna continue to work on. So you can actually rotate this part by holding Alt and left click. Now you can rotate this part so that you can work on different type of view, whatever you want. So I'm gonna add one texture here, another one here and here. Then if you're gonna zoom in, you can see that we have added the texture already. So let's say I'm gonna stay on this view, and it will show you every time I add texture. As you can see, it's adding textures around, right? So it will be easier for us to like texture everything even though it's covered by the other mesh. You can see it's updating on the left. It's a very handy tool. That's why I do love Substance Painter, because it's very convenient to like texture everything, especially in 3D. Although it's kind of pricey though, but it's a good investment for me as a 3D artist. Okay, so I'm currently working on the parts that it's difficult to texture. This basically, I'm just eyeballing everything, the spacings. So you need to practice more in order for you to improve the way you texture this kind of stuff. As you can see here, we forgot to add more space. Like, we need to add early as possible the curve here so that we will achieve smooth lines. That will erase this one as well. By the way, I'm just pressing X on my keyboard, like here, just to invert. So white means you're adding color, and black means you're removing. It's a similar analogy if you're working on Photoshop before, or any editing software, like you're using black and white masks, or say alpha. Okay, I'm making sure that they become aligned once again. Over there. Okay, that's basically it. By the way, you can hold Alt, left mouse button, and Control, or Shift, Shift, not Control, Shift, so that it will lock automatically on a specific view. Alt, left mouse click, rotate like that. Then if you want to lock into a specific view, hold Shift. As you can see here, it's locking to its view, where whatever you want. So let's bring back our original rotation. But here it doesn't matter actually what kind of view you're working on, and just in case you messed everything up here, let's say you're working like this, then you export it. Well, it doesn't matter as long as you have the informations on your UV inside Substance and you're trying to export it, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I will go back to the time lapse, and I'm gonna work on the stitches around here up until here. It's basically the same technique on how we're gonna texture tight parts where it's not visible to our eye in 3D viewport. So I'm gonna work on the time lapse. Okay guys, so we are finished creating our stitches. Sorry, it's so bad. I forgot to record my OBS while I'm working with the stitches. I'm so sorry for that, guys, but don't worry. Actually, I'm just using the same technique here. I'm just gonna explain it to you, by the way. Okay, so I'm basically doing is just stamp each part this individually like that over here. Then once I saw straight lines like this, or silhouette, something like that, what I did is I only use the shift. Like, I'm gonna click this one first, then hold shift and click on the last part where I want to end my stitch over there. So that's basically how I create straight lines. Then we want to make sure that we have the uniform spacing. So here it is. So my current spacing is 100. You can set what value that you want. So that's basically how I create the stitches here, as you can see here in the 2D view. So I'm using the same technique. Like if I saw straight line here in the silhouette, I basically just hold shift and click over here so that I could create straight lines. So in the curve, I manually just paint everything here and then make rotating like that. So sometimes you might mess up on your mouse, like when you're trying to rotate your brush like this, you might mess up the flow, like you're adjusting it left to right like that. So you have to careful on your mouse. Like if you want to rotate, make sure that you're only dragging your mouse up and down and not left and right, because once you made a mistake adjusting your mouse to left a little bit, it will automatically adjust your flow. So I recommend for you guys to practice that kind of handling, in your mouse. Okay, so that's basically my workflow on the stitch. So I'm very sorry guys, I forgot to hit press record during adding the stitches over here, but I think I recorded everything on this side. So it's basically the same workflow on this side, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so anyways, we will now move on to our blur. For adding blur on this side, on the stitches. So let's bring back our layers here. I'm just hitting tab. Don't forget to save, Control S. Okay, so what we're going to do first is to duplicate our stitch here. Just click this layer and Control D, and let's rename this blur, stitch blur. So next is I'm gonna put this thing on the bottom of the stitch, and what we're going to do is to go back to the fill and let's remove our color and roughness. We will only remain the height over here. Then let's go to black mask, click this, go to this wand tool over here, and let's add filter. Click the filter and let's look for blur over here. You can just search blur here as well if you want. So let's click this one, blur. Then we will adjust our height. Let's go back to our fill here. We will add a negative value to it like this. You can already see our model here. It's adding depth because it's a negative height, but we added too much blur. That's why it looks like it's large or big, or let's say thick blur, something like that. So we will adjust it by clicking the black mask once again, and let's adjust the blur over here. Then we will reduce the value like that. As you can see over there, we can play around our height because we added too much. So let's play around our height. You can just play around your height and your blur. Just go back and forth and what makes you comfortable. So I think this one's okay, or I think I added too much. So I want you guys to look at your reference back and forth, because I currently have my reference here on my second monitor at the bottom here. As you can see the stitches here. As you can see, there's a hole in the middle, but I don't have any holes here, but it's okay. It's not even that visible if you're trying to render it overall like that. If you're gonna zoom out, as long as it gives you a little bit of depth, it looks like your stitch is like sticking to the fabric, right? So I think we need another height to our stitch. So let's go back to our stitch layer here and increase the height like that. Then our roughness, it has to be increased, because you can see it's too shiny, right? And we'll increase the roughness to max, because fabrics are not that reflective. Okay, we will just a little bit more on our stitch blur. We'll decrease the height and add once more. Increase the blur. I think 0.2 is enough. Something like this. You can already see the difference, guys. Like, I want to hide this to show you what the difference. So you can see the difference already, right? This one looks like it's just a stamp, but this one it looks like it adds pressure inside. So this one's works well. Because we duplicated it, then it will automatically add it to the same stitches over here. We'll add to the same masks. Okay. Now everything's good. I think we have finished to our body 2 layer over here. Now we can start to move on and start with our body 3. I actually called it body 3, but it's not that the correct name. It's just how I named it, okay? So let's move on to our body 3, and we can start working it by adding another folder. And let's name it body _ 3. Now let's add a fill layer, but we don't need to because we can just duplicate everything here except for the stitches. So we can click the black up to the dirt, Control C. Let's go to our body 3, Control V. And now everything is duplicated, but as you can see, everything was added to its model, to the model, because we forgot to add a black mask to the folder. So in order to do that, we can just right click our body 3 and add a black mask. Click 4 on your keyboard and make sure you're in the mesh fill and click this one. And yeah, we already added the textures, and it's easy because we already created that one previously. As you can see here, it also shows you the same texture, discoloration. And similar process, we will add the stitches here, and we will gonna use the same settings over here. So we will copy the same stitch here. So I'm gonna shift select the both, Control C, Control V, but we will remove the mask to both of these because we want to create again from scratch. So I'm gonna right click, clear mask, and for this one as well, right click, clear mask. Okay. Oops, we deleted the blur, so let's Control Z this one. I'm just gonna fix this later, so let's just hide this as long as we remain the settings of our blur. So I'm just gonna hide this. Then just what I'm going to do later is just I'm gonna right click this one, and we have an option here where we can copy the mask over here, copy mask, and we can just click this black mask again, then right click, and we can just paste the mask right away so that it will copy. We'll create you a copy for this one. Okay, so anyways, let's just hide this stitch blur, and we can just focus on working on the stitch black mask over here. And same process, I'm gonna do the same thing, is to like create a time lapse. This time, guys, I will make sure that I already recorded, because I'm sorry for that. I forgot to record the previous task. Like, I added stitches over here on the side, so I'm very sorry. Anyways, I'm gonna start working on this one, and I want to make sure that it's recorded a time lapse. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, so we have finished the stitches on the body 3. Next is we will copy the mask for this one. So let's bring back our stitch blur. Let's show that, and we can just right click here on our black mask, then where is that, copy mask, click our stitch blur mask over here, right click and paste into mask. As you can see here, it's already added the blur. Yep, we remove the blur over here, so we can just let's add another one. So let's click the black mask and add filter, add a blur. Then we'll just copy the parameters of this one. So as you can see here, our blur intensity was set into 0.2. We're gonna do the same thing here. Let's adjust this one to 0.2. Okay. Now they have the same results. So don't forget to save, Control S. And we're done on this part. Now let's move on to our next part. Maybe I'm gonna work on this one. Then I'm gonna work on this last because this part is plastic. It's like it's attaching to the fabric or leather here, like the same as on our reference here. This one isn't fabric, it's plastic. So we're gonna do the same thing for that. But for now we are going to focus only to the, oh, we forgot guys, sorry. I just figured out that we still have the back part here. Like it's connected to the back part in front. So we need to add stitches for this one as well. Okay, so also I think I need to change the color for this one because the one I have sketched here, you can see the ugly sketch here, that we have created a red color stitch and the bottom part will be yellowed, so we will try to add that later if it works, but if not we can just change as long as what color will work to our overall silhouette, overall mesh, because color is a crucial part in texturing or in rendering, because great colors will give you a good results on your rendering, that it will not look like cheap. So using the right color, the right saturation will help you improve your rendering so that it will look realistic and it will look cool on your final result. Okay, so moving on, I will start adding more stitches on this side and the back part because I forgot to add stitches. So I'm gonna do the time lapse again for this one. Okay. Okay guys, so we have finished adding the stitches at the back. Next is we're going to copy the mask on our layer here. So let's copy mask, then paste it over here because we already added our stitches at the back, so it will copy the blur at the back also. We're gonna do the same thing here on our body 2 stitch. I'm just gonna copy this, copy mask, then paste into mask. Now we'll copy it here at the back, right there. Let's double check our height. It looks like we have inverted height on our stitch here. We will fix this, or I mean, it doesn't look like it's beveling, so we can increase it a little bit like that. And we're gonna do the same thing, but we'll fix the blur here first. Oh, our blur was removed. I think we will bring that blur back. add filter and blur. Okay, that's the blur. We'll bring back our height a little bit. Let's make it 0.2. Let's see, just the height of our blur. Let's lower down the height to 0.5. Let's check this thing if it will work. Then adjust the intensity to 0.2. Okay, I think we're gonna do the same thing to our stitch here. Let's double check the parameters. Okay, it's negative 0.5, 2. We're gonna do the same thing here. This is going to be 2. Then our stitch blur will be negative 0.5, and we will add a blur, add filter, blur. I forgot how much blur I'd added, so it's 0.2. Okay, let's make this 0.2. Okay, now we have added here. You can see the difference if I'm gonna hide the blur like that. Turn it to 3D view only. You can see already the difference here with blur, without blur. Okay, same here. Okay, overall it looks good. Control save. Next, I think we will change the color. We will try changing the color, like following the concept here that I made. Like it's red on top, then yellow at the bottom. So let me try working on that. So this is the stitch. So this is the body tool, which is at the bottom here. So let's try changing this to yellow. So let's bring back our base color guide here, and we will use our eyedropper tool and use this. Okay. Wonder if it looks good. Let's try red. Okay. Let's try red also on the top here. Looks nice, but this isn't final yet. I could change this later. So let's bring back our base color guide here so that we could check the overall colors that we have made. Okay, so these are the colors that we have made. So looks good, right? I might change some colors later on, but we will focus on our texturing first, especially on this part. So this is our third layer, or I'm gonna call this body tree. So let me hide the base color guide again. That, then I will collapse these, body 2 and body 3. Next is I'm gonna add, I think I'm gonna name this body 1. This one's body 2, and let's add a group again and name this body underscore 3. It has to be caps 3. Okay, now we can duplicate these. Black, this color, fake leather, dirts. That's it. 4 of them once again. Control C and go to body 2. Body 3, sorry, and Control V. That will duplicate everything. As you can see here, we forgot to add another black mask, so right click the folder, add black mask, click 4 in your keyboard and make sure you're in mesh fill and select this, and we have added already this material. Next is we will change the color for this one into gray, so, as you can see here. So let me hide this one first. Our base color guide here, you can see it's gray, right? So what we're going to do is to, I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. We will copy the color here. So let me click this and base color. eyedropper and click the dark gray right here, so that we will have this dark gray color as well. So we can now start hiding the base color guide and bring back our body tree folder, and boom, it's already here. You can already see the texture of the leather like that, and some dirts, the imperfections. So basically it looks like a moon, right? The color, because this was kind of inspired with a moon, because this is inspired from Gundam, which is like a anime that held in space, right? Not just in space, also in, I don't know, I guess it's in space, right? Everything was in space. So this color was basically like inspired from planets or what, specifically moon, which gives you some rocky feel, some stones, meteorites, something like that. So anyways, let's move on. Then our next task is, actually I don't add more stuff here, so probably I'm gonna add stitch here, because some parts might need stitches. I don't think this part needs stitches, because the tongue here, it's not even sticking to that part. Because if you're looking at the shoe in real life, there's no stitching here throughout the tongue, so it will depend on the shoe. So there's no reason for adding stitches here inside. So we're going to move on to our next part, which is the tongue already. Let's move on to our tongue. Now let's add another folder. I'm gonna put it on top. Oh, this is a layer, not a folder. Sorry. Okay, this is a folder. I'm gonna name this tongue. Did I spell it correctly? I don't know. So let's add a fill. Then our tongue was colored. Let's double check our base color guide once again. Black. Okay, so this is going to be easy because we have created this kind of texture already before on our body one. So we will just copy this once again. Click black and up to the dirt. So this 4 layer, Control C, go to the tongue, Control V, and add a black mask once again. Hit 4, and let's click this. Boom. Now it's done. It's easy, right? We're just reusing everything here on the parts. Then we can now start hiding our base color guide, and we can just focus on the parts that were added textures already. Okay, so overall it looks good. Later we will add a global curvature, because some parts doesn't have any dirt somewhat. Okay, so next is our laces. So mainly I'm focusing on fabrics first, because these are one of the difficult parts to texture. Like you can see here, it's already leathery. It's not that difficult in the after we created the base colors and some dirts, it will be easy for us to like duplicate things like the one that I have created right now. So our next is to create the laces. Let's add another folder. I'm gonna name this laces, and I think I'm gonna use the same. No, we will literally gonna create everything from scratch here on our laces. So let me add a fill. So our laces will be colored red, right? So I'm gonna remove the height, normal, AO, and metalness. So let's work on base color and roughness only. So let me hide this and click the drop tool and select the stitch over here. Boom. Okay, so let's bring that thing back. I'm gonna name this base color, And the laces here, let's add a black mask and hit 4, and we will manually select these laces. So by the way, if you forgot, we created a purple material here to determine which part are not yet textured, so it will be easy for us to see. Like if you can see here, we have added already textures, and we can see a lot of purples, which mean we forgot, or we didn't have added any texture yet. Okay, so after we added our base color, we will adjust your roughness here, because if you're most fabrics are not reflective, so let me add a little bit of reflection. As you can see here, we have a little bit of highlights, because fabrics are kind of reflective a little bit. Okay, so next is we will add a height. So let me add another fill, name this height, and we will remove the color normal metal rough AO, and let's remain the height over here, and we will add a black mask. Then we will add a generator, and let's look for tile. Let's type here tile. Oh, I don't think we need to add a generator here, so we will focus only on grayscale. So let me find some tile, the tile here, and let's search tile. I think we have tile generators here. Oh, it's here. Okay, so let me drag this thing here to our grayscale. Now we will click this and let's add a height. That. So it's currently not working. Let's try adding color. Start adjusting the tile. It's not working, guys. I think I've added the generator incorrectly. So let me figure this thing out first. Add a black mask. Then I will add a fill, then tile generator. Let's see if this thing works. Okay, I think it worked. We have the base color here. Oh no, we will remove this, but instead let's remove the mask and let's add another fill. Add a black mask and add a fill. In this fill layer, we will drag our tile generator like that. Then we will adjust the tiling over there. Okay, so what I basically did is I add a fill layer, add a black mask, then add a fill, then I just search tile generator here, and I just drag it to our fill here on the grayscale. I just drag it over here, then we can now play around our parameters. So let's change our pattern type to, let's look for, let's say square. Nope, it doesn't work. What about waves? I think we have some patterns here that only had lines, because fabrics only have lines, right? Yeah, it's here. I think this one, fibers. So instead of using the tile generator, we will use this called fibers too. Now let's drag it here on our grayscale map, and we will just adjust the tiling over there. We can increase this, by the way, to -200. Let's say 200. Yeah, that's pretty good. That was pretty good. So let's make it 500 once more. Okay, so that we could get that this kind of pattern, line pattern. And our next task is to rotate to rotate this. So let me rotate the UV over here. We'll make sure that they will look like a line. So currently we have messed up the UVs. So it should be look like this, right? Okay, next is we will add a height only. So let's remove the normal, color, metal, roughness, and AO. And our height should be in negative, like that. Okay. So we will only need a very low parameters. So I'm going to change this to 0.01. So it will not be too obvious. As you can see here, we have flipped UV here. So this one looks weird. This is the only one that looks weird, right? So we will fix this. What else? I think I'm gonna create a folder for this one. Control G, and add a white mask. And let's remove this one only. Okay, then we can just rename this to 1, and I'm gonna duplicate this. Then I'm gonna add another one for this, and for this part only we can adjust the parameters or the rotation, because I messed up to the other parts. Let me remove everything here first. Let's clear the mask. And for this one, let's clear the mask. Like that. Next is I'm gonna add only for this part. It's not working. Let me remove the mask here first. Where's that? Remove mask. Okay. In this part, I will add. Yeah, we remove the fill for this one. So let me add the. Let me copy this. Control C. Go here. Control V. Now it's here, and then we'll just rotate this one. But it simply adds to the other part, so let's rename this to 2, and let's add a black mask, and we will only add for this part. Okay, now it's fixed. Okay, we also have lost the parameters for this one, so okay, anyways, I think it's done. Oh, what happened here? Body 2. Oh yeah, okay. I hide it. Okay, so this is our stitch. As you can see, kind of looks shiny. Right, so I think it's because of the color. So increase the roughness to max. The color looks like it's popping around, and it kind of looks stylized to me. So let me adjust the color. I want to make it a bit of saturated. You can see it there. It looks more natural when you try to saturate this one. You can see it right there. Compared to the previous one that we have made, that it looks stylized because it's popping the red. Okay, I think our stitch is okay. It's not that realistic, but it's enough because this is a elastic stitch. This is not more like a natural fabric stitch, by the way. Okay, let's Control S and let's increase our viewport here. Let's collapse the lace. Okay, let's move on. Next is these part here. These are plastic. That's what I've mentioned recently. So we'll name this side plates. Sorry, we need to add a folder and name it side plates and move it over here. So the base color will be, let me check the reference first, our base color guide. So the color has to be yellow. Okay, let me hide it once again. So our side plates will be yellow. So let's copy the base color here and let's add a black mask and let's select these. Okay, let me check the base color guide. This one's metal, it's not plastic, so just gonna work on this one first. Side plates, then we will add a discoloration. We can copy the same discolor, the one that we have made on our dirt here, or I mean on our body. You can copy the discolor and the dirts. Let's select them both. Control C, Control V. This is to save time. As you can see here, we can still achieve good results, but we will lower down or change the color here. Instead of brown, let's make it a bit of orange. That. And this color, we will adjust it a little bit of orange here, something orange red. Let's see how it looks. I think we added too much dirt. I mean this color. We can just play around our grayscale here, just the balance like that. Okay, also the edges, this is the dirt. We can adjust our generator, just the wear level, that I'm toning it down. Okay, you can see it right there. Control S, and the color looks popping to me again, so let me adjust the saturation of the base color because it doesn't look natural anymore. Okay, and you can see it's too shiny. So plastic, if you're seeing plastic in real life, if you're using it for a long time, the shininess will be lost. So let's remove the metal. It's gonna be rough over time. Yeah, it's gonna be something like that. You can see it has a little bit of highlights there. Okay, now we've finished that part. Next is this one is metal. Oh yeah, this one is fabric, by the way. Forgot to change this to fabric. I mean to add this as fabric. So I think I'm gonna duplicate this part once again, the leather. So I'm gonna rename this back support, even though back cushion. I don't know what you guys name to yours, but this is how I named this, back cushion. So we're gonna add a black mask for this one. So this is a cushion here. I'm gonna add the black mask. Then I'm gonna copy this color, fake leather, and dirts. Also the black here. Control C, go to back cushion. Control V. Let's delete this. And voila. Also, we forgot this thing is red, right, or black? Let me double check. It's red. Okay, we can change this to red. We will copy this red here from the laces because this is a good color. It's not popping. It's a bit of saturated. We can do the same thing here, by the way, because the side sole here, it's too red. We can adjust also using a bit of saturated red over there. Also for the laces, I mean the stitch, we will use saturated red like that. It's because it's popping, right? You can see the difference. You can see it here. It looks way more natural compared to this one. It looks stylized because it's popping. So we will bring back our stitch. Where is that? I have a lot of folders. It's crazy, right? This is how we work on Substance. Like, it's very important to organize everything. Like, you have to create each part a folder so that it will be easy for you later once you try and change something over here. Like, for example, I want to change something to the tongue, the laces, the body. It will be easy for me to access because I named it correctly. Okay, we can now start hiding this once again, the base color guide. Wait, hold on. I think we remove this one. What happened? Hold on, guys. Let's Control Z. I think I accidentally deleted our side here. Yup, we accidentally deleted the side plates. So I Control Z until we get that thing back. So let's collapse them once again. Okay, so we bring this thing back and we will add another folder for this one. Let's name this back cushion. Okay, so let's Control V because we have copied recently. Let's add a black mask for this one, 4, and let's select this and change the color to this kind of red, that, and it's all done. Okay, Control S. Okay, this one, I wonder what color is this. I always forgot my guide, guys. Oh, it's gray. Okay, I think we will copy the same material for this one in front. It's body tree, so we will just copy it like there. Gonna highlight them, Control C, and we will name this, we're gonna move it on top of the body tree. Gonna name this back support. Okay, and Control V. Now let's add a black mask and let's select this, click 4 and select only this one. Okay, now it's here. Control S to save. Okay, I think we have finished all the fabric parts on our model. We can now start modeling the metal parts, especially these, the wings, the cannon, and this one, and also the one in front of here. Now we can start working on the metal parts. Okay, so first we will work on this one. It's more like a head, so let me add a folder here. I'm gonna name this, I think, head.